Welcome to Bucks Weekly, Week 10 of the winter sports season. The winter sports season here has been very busy as of late, so we wasn't able to do a Bucks Weekly last week. So we got a lot of catching up to do, beginning with Jim Meyer and the girls basketball team, who have basically won 4 straight games, 6 out of their last 7. And since the last time we talked, we've had a big win over National Trail and then again against Tri-County North. So can you talk about how the girls are gelling going into tournament time?
They couldn't be playing any better than they are right now. It kind of started, I don't know, maybe with the Greenville game. We had like 6 games in a week, and they just really got into a rhythm. You know, it was pretty much practice play. They've been really performing well. What I really like, the main thing that they've been doing is coming out and really getting on teams right away in the first quarter. So we're hoping as we get into the tournament that trend can continue. We talk about that a lot. Let's get a quick start, let's get out and get control of the game. So they've been doing that extremely well.
Okay, well, back on February 1st, it seems like a long time ago, but really it's not that long ago. We had that big win against National Trail with 71-44. And that's really not an indication of how good National Trail is. That's a pretty good team. But we, like you said, we got out to a fast start and really never let off the gas.
Right. I think I shared with the girls because we play them in the tournament Saturday. And it's always tough to beat a team that you've beaten once a second time. So we had a great first quarter. I believe we were up 17 at the end of the first quarter, and then the rest of the way it was a 10-point game. So, and we went down and watched Trail last Saturday again against Eaton, and same thing. Eaton got out to a big lead, and it was a 4-point game the rest of the way. So Trail has some really good players, has some good potential to stay with you, and that's why we really want to try to get out to a fast start on Saturday.
Okay, well then last Thursday was our last home game, and of course the last regular season game, and we had a really nice win over Tri-County North, and they had, coming into the game, the leading scorer in the league, and we were able to shut her down. I think she might end up with 10 or 12 points. But your 2 seniors in that game were lights out, Sammy and Jordan. Jordan and Tori, sorry. It's not Sammy, Jordan.
We wish Sammy was a senior.
But they were lights out in that game.
You know what? My 2 seniors have been lights out in every game. These 2 come to do their job every day. They do whatever you ask them to do. Jordan's known for her big 3-point shots that just seem to come at just the right time in every game. Tori, we've talked about this over and over this year, how hard she works. She guarded. We started Kenzie on Aubrey Stubb, who's the leading scorer, and their coach put her down inside. So I put Tori on her, and Tori again is outmatched by 3 or 4 inches, and Tori just battled her and was physical with her. Stubb scored 8 points in the first quarter, and Tori held her to 4 points the rest of the way. So, these 2. You talk, and people say, how many seniors are you going to lose? And I say, we're going to lose 2. And they go, oh, that's pretty good. And I say, no, you don't understand what these 2 seniors bring to this team. Not only as players, but also as leaders as well. They show up every night. They work hard. They're good role models for the younger players. And they make sure that everybody gets along well, and they do a great job of that.
Well, you talk about them being role models. I noticed there during warm-ups. I mean, we had some of the JV kids crying because it was the last game for the 2 seniors, and you rarely see that. So you could tell it was real emotional, not for the 2 seniors, not only for the 2 seniors, but a lot of the younger kids. That's the last time that they'll be playing on that floor.
It's tough. I don't think I went a little misty-eyed too. Mine happened the night before because we always do pregame to our music, and that's how we go about the night before games. And I kind of just stood and looked at him and thought, this is it for them. Don't get me going now, please. But yeah, and again, this has been a different year because we only have 15 kids come out total. So there really hasn't been a JV team and a varsity team. Everybody's together. We warm up together. We do all of our shooting drills together. Everybody's dressing for the varsity games, even the kids who are playing JV. And so it's been a real family atmosphere, and these two seniors have openly accepted everyone from freshmen all the way up. And so I understand when we have younger kids upset that they're leaving because they mean so much to this team.
Okay, and we begin the tournament, sectional tournament over at Brookville Saturday. And I know we had talked several times, and you were looking for, you couldn't wait for your kids to get healthy. You know, we've had some injury issues, just nagging kind of things. And this break here, about a week, I think that's really going to help us going into the tournament.
Well, there's that's positive because we're getting people healthy. The negative is the layoff. You know, we have, I don't know that we've had, gosh, you know, just in the last month or so, we've actually had weeks where we've had 3 days to practice, which seems like an eternity getting to the game. So, you know, this is an entire week. We're going to do some things to try to get the kids up to game speed here. And that's the big thing, not to lose this momentum and this rhythm that we're in, because like we talked, we're in a really good rhythm right now.
Okay, we'll come out and support the Lady Bucks on Saturday at 11 o'clock over at Brookville. And up next after this break, we will talk to the two seniors, Jordan Crowell, not Sammy, Jordan Crowell and Tori Lyle.
Hi, this is Don Solon, pastor at Fields of Grace Worship Center. We are a non-denominational church with a contemporary casual atmosphere. We are a church committed to reaching outside our walls while at the same time caring for those that call Fields of Grace home. Maybe you know Fields of Grace by all our community events. You are always welcome to come on over for a cup of coffee Sunday mornings and check us out at fieldsofgrace.org for service times.
Welcome back to Bucks Weekly, Week 10 of the winter sports season, and I'm here with seniors Jordan Crowell and Tori Lyle, Lady Bucks basketball team, who have finished the regular season now at 16-6, a great regular season, and played their last home game last Thursday and a win over Tri-County North. So, ladies, what was it like playing your last game on the home floor?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I didn't think it was like hitting me until Hauschel started crying. I mean, I was like kind of iffy, and then I saw her crying, and it made me cry. And I don't know, Tori and I have been playing together since like the past 6 years. It's always just been us two. Like not even just Covington, like we did AAU travel ball, so we'd always stop at Dairy Queen on the way back from practices, and I don't know, it's just always been us two, and it's just kind of sad that it's all coming to an end.
And so, Tori, what did it mean for you?
It was sorry. It was really emotional at first, and then once it like started getting going, I was excited. It was just fun, and it was good to come out with such a good game and for all of us to play so well.
Okay, before we were looking at some pictures from when you guys were in 8th grade and some of the girls that you played with back then, and unfortunately, you know, for different reasons, some of the other girls couldn't play or just decided not to play through high school. You know, like you said, you guys have played together for the last 6 years. You know, how tight of a bond do you have together from playing basketball all those years?
I don't know, I consider Tori like family. Our dads used to work together as firefighters, so we've known each other since I can remember, since we were very young. So, I don't know, I'd say we're pretty close.
And basketball just brings us closer too, because even when we're not playing, we'll still be able to talk about basketball, and we'll still be able to just remember all the memories that we've had the past 6 years.
Okay, so we have tournaments coming up, and of course your guys' goal is to go very deep into the tournament and extend your season as long as you can. How is the team playing right now going into the tournament?
Honestly, I feel like right now we're playing the best we've ever played, like all season, and obviously it's really good timing that we're stepping up our game. And honestly, I think as games go on, we've progressed. We've never we've had a couple injuries where, like you saw me during the Bethel game, I was on the side riding the exercise bike, and then coach threw me in, and I hit a big 3 at the end of the half for buzzer beater. But then ever since then, we've just been healthy and making progress, and I don't think we could get any better than that. So.
Okay, well that's it with the two senior Lady Buck basketball players. Good luck to them throughout the postseason here. And up next, we will talk to Matt Pond and the boys basketball program.
Hello, my name is Ron Sutherland, President of Keringten Savings and Loan. We have been a part of the Keringten and the surrounding community since 1886. We have been serving both savings and loan customers and help promoting home ownership. Stop by and talk with Jason for your lending needs, or see Diane in Brooklyn for all your savings needs. Thank you for your continued support to help Keringten Savings and Loan continue to support the Keringten community. FDIC approved.
Welcome back to Bucks Weekly, Week 10 of the winter sports season. I'm here with head basketball coach Matt Pond, and it's been 2 weeks since we talked to Coach for the last Bucks Weekly segment, and since then we'll begin with we had a rough loss over at Tri-Village, a 1-point loss where we were right there in the game. Really good effort by our kids that night.
Right, very good game. We just had trouble executing down the stretch. Up to that point, made clutch plays, got ourselves back in it. We really battled all night in a tough place to win. Unfortunately, we didn't make the plays when we needed to, and they were able to stretch that out. And we hit a 3 at the buzzer to make it a 1-point game. And again, that's kind of the kids we have, though. They never give up, and gave us a chance, and we just have to find a way to get over that hump in that game, obviously.
And one thing that really hurt us in that game is early, it might have been 2 or 3 minutes into the game, Braden Miller takes, I don't know if it was a thumb to the eye or something, yep. and he tried to come back there in the first half. He couldn't see, so he had to wait for that to clear up, and by the time he was able to get back in the game, it was the fourth quarter.
Right. Obviously, having him out was hard on us, but that's a chance for somebody else to step up. We'd love to have him in there. He did come back in late, but he does a lot of things for us, and we had to adapt a little bit, and it would have been nice to have him in there, but it is what it is at that point, and we just move on and get next man up.
Mm-hmm. And in that game, you always talk about sharing the basketball and having balanced scoring. We had three kids that finished that game in double figures, and when you have that, it gives you a chance to win down the end, and that did.
Definitely. It was just a matter of hitting a shot at the right time, taking care of the ball at the right time, and we had a couple turnovers. And give Tri-Village credit, they made some plays as well, handled the ball, hit some big shots of their own, made free throws when they needed to keep that 4-point game with time running out. So it's one of those things, like you said, though, if we can do that, then we're going to be in games and we're going to win games. And when you have 3 kids in double figures, it's tough to key on one kid, and we certainly like that in our program.
Okay, then last night we traveled over to Tri-County North, and they're having a really good year this year, and they've got one of the most, what I believe is one of the most impressive individual players in the league, and I think the kid's name is McCullough.
Mm-hmm.
And we were able to hold him to 14 points, but we lost by 13, but that game was a lot closer than the score.
Definitely. Unfortunately, we went through a scoring drought in the second quarter. We were tied 10-all after 1, and we had, unfortunately, we've done that a few times this year. We had a very low scoring second quarter, and so that put them up 13, but we came out in the second half. I think we played them even, but we dug such a hole in that second quarter. We came out, I think we scored the first 4 to 7 points in the third quarter, so our kids certainly made some changes there at half, came out and applied them, and we battled all the way. Like you said, it was a lot closer game than that. And again, we battled all the way to the end. We just got to find a way to avoid those scoring droughts.
And I believe we cut it to the game to 5 or 6 points there in the fourth quarter, but we just had a couple things that didn't go our way. They hit some big shots. Of course, the McCullough kid is really good. Mm-hmm. I think it was number 21 hit a big 3.
He did.
And that was a big shot for them.
Yes, and they've got a couple other nice young kids that shoot the ball pretty well. So they're going to be decent again next year as well. They play well together as a team for sure.
Okay, then last Friday, which I thought was probably the most funnest night of the year, we had our senior night at home against Newton, and of course they beat us earlier in the year, and we were able to get a little bit of a payback, if you want to call it that, with a win in our gym. Can you talk about that performance Friday night?
Well, that's a special night, as you know, to honor our seniors kids that have been in the program, kids that have worked hard, and we were able to start all seniors. The kids came out and played well. That's a good Newton team. I know they're struggling for wins as well, just like we are, but they've got some offensive firepower there. Really pleased with our defense on a couple of their kids. The Millette kid hurt us the first time through, and Worley did as well. And I think we held them to a combined 10
Worley had
or
2
something.
points in his game in the fourth quarter, I
Yeah,
think.
okay. And we held them to 8 to 10. But just a very good effort, a great atmosphere. Stands were packed, as we've said all year. Our fans here are fantastic and very supportive. And to be able to do that on senior night and honor our seniors was certainly something special. Have them all contribute.
Okay, and then Braden Miller, of course, he had a big game with 18 points, and then Bradley Wiggins had 13 points, so you had some balanced scoring there as well.
Definitely. Braden's certainly capable of doing that, and Brad's shooting the ball well right now. Shot it well last night, and so, we're hoping kids are getting hot at the right time.
Okay, and what the icing on the cake, so to speak, was late in the game. You had Jett Murphy, who had a season-ending injury before the season even started, and you were able to get him in the fourth quarter there to shoot 2 free throws, and I'm sure there's a lot of pressure on Jett, but he was able to hit nothing but net on both those free throws.
Thank goodness Jett's been practicing all year as far as shooting his free throws. Everything he could do. It certainly made that night very emotional and extremely special for all of us. The crowd, to hear the crowd ramp up when he got off the bench, and I'd like to give a special thanks to the Newton program and Gavin Spetler and the officiating crew. I talked to them beforehand, and they were very accommodating and super understanding, and that's what high school sports is all about. And I think you made note of it on your website, which I thought was very classy. That small town feel, and we would certainly repay that, and I'd let their coaches know that. But to have Jett step in there and hit him like it was all year, like he's been in there all year, was certainly special and emotional for our whole team. Problem is now he probably expects to get the free throw shooting trophy because he's 100%. So I don't know if he wants to shoot anymore or not.
It'll have to be a big trophy, won't it?
Yeah. But he's a great kid. So to be able to have that happen was certainly something special for us this season.
Okay, and we close out the regular season before we begin tournaments next week. We close out the regular season Friday over at Mississinawa Valley, and they're a team that is really dangerous, and that's always a tough gym to play in.
It is. Tim Bargy does an excellent job with them, has done it since he's been there, and that will be a hard-fought game. We've had some great games with them. They're going to run a matchup zone. He does an excellent job teaching that. They've got one of the better players in the league, in Ethan Bowman, and our kids are going to have to come over. We're going to have to hit shots, and if we do, I expect another great league game for us.
Okay, we'll come out and support the Bucks Friday night over at Mississinawa Valley. And up next, after this break, we will talk to senior Jett Murphy.
Keringten Eagles does a lot for this school and this program. We need to give them some thanks. On 3, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Keringten Eagles! Yeah!
Thank you, Keringten Eagles! Thank you, Keringten Eagles! Thank you, Keringten Eagles! Thank you, Keringten Eagles! Woo! Thank you, Keringten Eagles, for all you do for Keringten schools. Go Bucks! Woo!
We're back at Bucks Weekly, Week 10 of the winter sports season with senior basketball player Jett Murphy. And Jett, you unfortunately had a season-ending knee injury before the season even started. Can you talk about that injury and what you've had to do through the rehab process?
Well, been through it before, so I kind of knew what to do and what to expect, but I knew it was going to be a lot of pain at the beginning and a lot of hard work to get back, but a lot of physical therapy and good consciousness, just thinking positive helps you get through it a lot.
Okay, yeah, so you've had the same injury before on the other knee, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what has this year been like? I mean, a credit to you, a lot of kids, if they tear their knee up before the season even started, they would basically just, walk away. But you've been there every game, every practice. What is that about your mentality that says, you know what, I'm going to be a part of the team, even if it's in a cheerleading role?
Well, of course it's my last year, so I want to be there for everything, and it's still my teammates, and like I've been around them forever, and just be there and support them, and be there through the journey. It's still fun to be there with them and enjoy the process. Like it's the last year, so.
Okay, and then last Friday night during senior night, I don't know if you expected it or not, but it was you were rewarded by Coach Pond, and it was also nice of the Newton coach to agree to it. You were able to go out on the floor in front of the home crowd and shoot 2 free throws. What did that mean to you?
Oh, it meant a lot because, of course, not playing all year sucks, and having that moment was awesome. It made my whole year.
Were you pretty nervous walking out there to shoot those?
Well, I kind of knew it was going to happen because my mom told me when we were walking out. So I was kind of like preparing myself towards the end. My hands started to get sweaty. But yeah, when I stepped up to the line, the crowd was cheering. I was really nervous.
Okay, so let's fast forward here to track. Track's coming up. And of course, obviously that is your bread and butter sport. That's where you're going to go to college and compete in the pole vault. And I know you have lofty goals this year. You placed at state the last 2 years. You know, you got the school record and things like that. What have you been able to do, even with your injury, to prepare yourself for this upcoming spring?
Just slowly getting back into working out, and doing as much as I can with my knee, and then mentally preparing myself. Like going through the motions in my head helps me a lot before I even get to pole vaulting again.
So have you been able to do any vaulting or anything since your injury?
Not yet, but I'm about to start that up in the next week.
Okay, well, good luck. We hope to see you at Columbus and accomplish your goals. I mean, you've earned it. You've had a lot of adversity, and you've worked hard. We'd like to see that happen.
Thank you. It means a lot.
Okay, up next, we will talk to Coach Eric Vanderhorst and get an update on Buccaneer wrestling.
Color Green Photo offers a variety of photographic options for high school seniors, weddings, and families. We pride ourselves in providing creative and captivating images that have a special meaning to those we shoot. Please visit colorgreenphoto.com to view samples of our work and contact us at 937-418-0417 to schedule your next photo session.
We're back at week 10 of Bucks Weekly of the winter sports season to close things out with Covington Wrestling and Coach Eric Vanderhorst. And the Bucks have been busy the last couple of weeks, had a home duel against Brookville and then hosted the Covington duels this past weekend. And Coach, can we go back to last week when we hosted Brookville in a home duel?
Yeah, that was a nice kind of later pickup. They ended up having an extra scheduling point. We did also, so we got that duel put together. It was a good duel. They're a good program, up and coming program. They're young like we are, but they've had a lot of success this year in duel meets. They were 1 point away from making it to the regional finals in the southernmost region, and so that was good. So it was kind of a battle of regional semifinalists, and we ended up coming out on top, 45-31, something like that. So yeah, it was a good win.
Okay, can you talk about some of the matches and some of the profile matches that night that we had? You know, we had some kids that were leading, lost some matches in really close bouts. Can you talk about some of the performers that night?
Yeah, I mean, you know, they're very good at cradles, right? So they're a cross-face cradle team, and we actually worked it in practice in a number of situations. But sometimes until you get faced with it, you know, you got to get faced with it with someone who does it all the time to get experience. And so, yeah, a couple of our kids had nice leads and ended up getting caught in a cradle and turned. But you know, I switched our lineup a little bit, being maybe a little overconfident that we'd get the win, to give us some matchups that would be good matchups for us to help us this postseason. Almost backfired towards the end because we lost a couple of them, but we had big wins there at the end. You know, Dylan Stout had he had a kid probably this much bigger than him. It was a battle, you know, and he ended up pulling out a big pin, and at that point it kind of iced it for us for the win. So Dylan was probably the hero of the duel, Dylan Stout, for that one. And we had a number of other, you know, really good performances out of a number of the kids, and not singling anybody out in particular in that one, because that was a pretty good, steady dual meet win between everybody. But Dylan's match stood out there.
Okay, and then on Saturday we hosted the Covington duels, and for the first time since we started the Covington duels, we entered the tournament as not the defending champions. I mean, Miami East had won it
That's
last
right.
year. And it was a really exciting day of wrestling, highlighted by the head-to-head matchup with Miami East there at the end.
Sure, yeah, and it pretty much was a two-horse battle there. You know, it was expected that, you know, it was really expected that Miami East would win it. They were the strong favorites to win it this year. You know, they got a number of state guys in their lineup. So that was a great win. You know, our kids all week were strategizing. Hey, coach, what about this lineup? What about this lineup? They're all giving me all kinds of suggestions for ways to beat them. We got a little break when one of their kids dropped into 170. They elected not to wrestle him because he was dropping. Maybe
Matt Welker,
maybe
he's pretty good.
Maybe he wasn't in match shape at that point because of dropping to a weight class. They held him out, so that gave us 6 points right there at that point, and we were able to get big wins. You know, Duncan Cooper and Trenton Alexander had big wins in that match. Not just wins, but got bonus points, got pins. And we had others who kept some of their studs from getting bonus points, and those were huge. And it basically put us, you know, with 3 matches to go, we pretty much had a lead that they weren't going to be able to come back against. And so that was a great victory. It was unexpected. You know, I'm sure a lot of people thought, you know, Miami East would run away with it. So that was nice to get the trophy back.
Well, one of the most impressive matches that I felt of the day, and it came with one of our kids losing, and it was Dylan Stout at 220.
Yeah.
And he's wrestling, I believe Dalton is a returning state qualifier.
State alternate, yeah.
State alternate.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
He's wrestling Brendan Dalton for Miami East. And there was a real freaky moment in that match where Dylan got bent backwards. I mean, it looked really scary.
Yeah, scorpion basically. He's like feet overhead a little bit. Yeah.
And he was hurting pretty bad, and that was, I believe, halfway through the second period. And he was able to, and as much pain as he was in, he was able to wrestle the rest of that match and not get pinned.
Yeah, he wrestled outstanding. One, we wanted to make sure he wasn't hurt, injured, where he could be. So the trainer, you know, thought, you know, if he's able to go, he's going to be all right from an injury standpoint. So then it was this, Dylan, you think you can go? And he's like, yeah, I want to go. You know, he was in pain. He was tired. The kid's skilled, battled hard, saved us 2 team points. You know, and all those team points added up to an insurmountable lead for us. It was nice. That was another one that stood out. A lot of good wins.
And then there was another one that I don't remember who or what school he was wrestling, but Joseph Franke, I might have been Tri-County North or Twin Valley South. He was wrestling this kid, and he was down in the match, and he ended up pinning the kid at the end. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, and he had a lot of technique that we had been teaching this year. So he had a good low single, chase the ankle, finish. He did really good stand-ups with hand control. So that match was fun to watch because Joseph had a lot of technique that we were teaching, and it was working for him and got him a comeback win. So one I forgot to mention against Miami East that was huge too was Keringten Martin at 152.
Oh yeah.
That was a great
that
one.
match.
Went into 3 overtimes, and he ended up winning in the 3rd overtime period. So that also was a huge swing match, you know, to help get us the victory. And Keringten ended up getting his 100th victory of his career. Was it 1 duel before that, maybe?
I think
2
it was
duels
Tri-County
before
North
that.
he
Yeah.
wrestled, yeah.
Yeah, so that was great accomplishment for Keringten, and you know, that was fun for the team, and a great way to, on the day you get your 100th, to get a big win like that in overtime.
Well, and the thing about him getting his 100th career win, and I believe I was talking to Coach Barbie about this, is, you know, he's only a junior.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, and back in the day, there wasn't very many 100 win guys, you know,
Right.
even the seniors. And,
Yep.
and of course, they wrestled a lot less matches back in the day, but still, you got 100 wins in your career, and you're only a junior.
Yeah, it's good.
That's
Not
really-
a lot of guys don't ever get to 100 wins, so that's a great accomplishment to do it as a junior with, you know, this postseason and next full year there to compete is outstanding.
Okay, and one thing I want to comment on is kind of neat to see, and it kind of just shows, you know, if people haven't been to wrestling meets, especially against local teams and things like that, is you see these kids, you know, when they wrestle each other, kids from other teams, of course, they're out there giving everything they got, but off the mat, it's just amazing to me to see how the kids interact with each other. I notice, you know, during breaks and the action and things, you know, the Covington kids and the Miami East kids, they're hanging out together.
They get along with each other. They're buddies. You know, they joke around with each other. We're going to get after it, you know, during the match for sure. But they're buds outside of that and get along well. That's what's great about the sport. I know when I competed, you just meet a lot of friends from different schools and friends that you see them, you know, in your 40s, and you're just hey, you know, what's up? You know, you just a lot of good relationships and good memories you meet with people hitting tournaments like that.
And then as we go deeper here in the sectional and district, of course, those same kids will be rooting for each other unless they're in their same weight class.
Yeah, as long as
they'll be rooting for each other, you know, on the mat for success.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat.
Yeah, districts and then at state, big time, rooting for each other at that point in the season as well. So yeah, it's fun. It's a neat thing.
Okay, so we finish up here the regular season with a duel over at Springfield, which is added, and that is Saturday.
Saturday at 10 a.m. Yep. So I think with the Covington duels, by going undefeated there, we increased our record to 25-5. So talked to the team today. Let's finish out the season 26-5. Springfield has some studs. They have a couple good kids, but I think our depth should win out for us. That's what I'm hopeful for. And if our kids have a good day, I'd like to finish 26-5 on the year.
Well, that's really impressive record when you consider we came into the season with 2 seniors. Unfortunately, we lost 1 senior for the season, Kyle, which he had a chance to do some things in the post.
He was having a great year. I think he was 12-4 when he had to step out.
But we got a lot of young kids, and you know that says a lot about our program to have that kind of record.
Yeah, real happy with the kids. They're working hard. You know, they're the ones getting. That's their record, right? 25-6. They're the ones putting the work in. They're the ones, you know, being coachable, getting after it, and so real proud of them.
Okay, well, come out and support the Bucks Saturday over at Springfield for their final duel of the season before sectionals. And up next, we will close things out with junior Keringten Martin, who just did get his 100th career win on Saturday.
This is Andy Johnson of Bucks Radio, the voice of Covington Buccaneers. Here to encourage Buccaneer fans to support local businesses. Your patronage of local businesses goes a long way in allowing them to continue to support Covington schools and Covington athletics.
We're back at Bucks Weekly, Week 10, to close things out with junior 152-pounder Keringten Martin, who had a big weekend at the Covington Duels on Saturday with his 100th career win. And Keringten, not a lot of kids reached that plateau. You got to be pretty proud of yourself for reaching that.
Yeah, it was pretty great, and just the support from everybody was just awesome. It was pretty fun.
Okay, so let's talk about your career up to this point. You know, I mean, you're really close to getting state last year, and I'm sure you're shooting for state this year. Just what is it about the evolution since you entered the high school program as a freshman to now as a junior? How have you been able to progress that quickly?
Well, I learned a lot my freshman year when I wrestled a great season, had a great season, and then I got in the postseason, and I realized that I needed to step it up because I made it to postseason and didn't get very far. I didn't make it out of sectionals, and then the next year I got a little bit better, had a tough weight class, placed 6th at districts, just had some tough matches. And then this year I learned that it's going to be close, but you got to keep your position good and stay as best as you can, and you can come out on top because everybody's just right there in my weight class. I've wrestled some of the top kids at LCC, and I've stuck right there with them. It's just whoever comes ready to wrestle. That's pretty much who it is.
Okay, so one thing that I notice in particular is, you know, your leadership, and you don't always focus on yourself. Of course, when you're on the mat, you know, you got to focus on what you're doing, but the one thing I noticed, especially at the Covington Duels, is the leadership that you provided some of the younger kids. We had a young kid that was winning a match and ended up late in the match, lost it, and the first person that was over talking to him was you. Can you just talk about that leadership and how you try to help some of the younger, more inexperienced kids get over the hump?
The way I kind of look at it now is before postseason, we got everybody. It's a team sport. And all the way up until the duels, everything, it's all about the team. When we come to the Covington Duels, the thing that pushes everybody is people that lead and help everybody win. And we win close matches that we needed to, like against Miami East. And that's just what I need. I feel like I need to help everybody and get them as good as they can to be for the postseason, and also myself.
Okay. So what I know the goals of course is obviously getting, qualifying for state, hopefully finish on a podium. Kind of looking at your weight class from here on out, what's it going to take to get there?
Just hard work. Like I said, coming ready to wrestle, it's going to be close, especially once I get into districts. We're all going to, it'll be close, but if I come ready to wrestle, I should be able to make it out and wrestle with the top people.
Okay, well, good luck, Keringten.
Thank you.
Okay, that concludes the Week 10 of Bucks Weekly Winter Sports Season. For Ben Robinson, all the coaches, and Keringten Martin, good night.
And go Bucks.